Now we have a session on Festive Season Insights for app marketers, how to win in 2021 and beyond. I would like to invite Senthivel Prakash, Customer Success Team Leader, AppsFlyer, to share the insights with our audience.
Hi everyone, my name is Senthivel Prakash. I'm over here to share the festive season insights on how to win in 2021 and beyond. The agenda today is pretty straightforward. We're going to understand Diwali and the patterns around Diwali this COVID season. And we're going to look at certain festive season insights for app marketers and a few key takeaways on how you could win this festive season and beyond. Yeah, I lead the customer success team at AppsFlyer, and I'm very excited to be talking to all of you today. Diwali in COVID-19 sounds exciting, right? So the mobile industry has seen a lot of disruptions in the recent past. And majority of these disruptions has been around privacy with regards to user level information and how you're going to consume user level data. Having said with these disruptions coming into place, yet we have seen because of the COVID, a lot of end users are moving towards an app first economy where they prefer shopping online rather than going to a physical store. According to e-market estimates, e-commerce retails bought close to 51 billion in retail sales. And this growth is only expected to increase significantly in the next few months. Some of the key findings are 92% of Android's market share has been there in last festive season. And one important thing for us to notice over here is that iOS has contributed to 8%, but this was not the case earlier. So this very clearly signifies that the number of iOS users are increasing as well. There was a 3.75x raise in food and drink in-app purchases in Q2 2021 compared to Q2 2020. A 72% raise in organic installs for food and drink from Feb 2021 to June 2021. And 65% increase in the share of paying users from Jan 2021 to April 2021, which clearly signifies that end users are now interacting with an app with an intent to go ahead and make some purchases. And marketers should definitely be capitalizing on these important trends. And here, let's get a little deep in regarding the insights. The first and most important aspect for us to plan out our campaigns in advance for this festive season to capitalize in the surge for demand. Ideally, what we see is 4 weeks prior to Diwali, there is a surge in shopping because people want to shop in advance and get everything ready, share things with their loved ones. And then the Diwali day is a little quiet, right? The 2-3 days of Diwali function is a little quiet. And similarly, food and drink as well, we see an uptick 2 weeks prior to Diwali. So it is very important to understand the user behavior and plan your campaigns well in advance so that 4 weeks prior to Diwali, there is a seamless execution of your campaigns. Remarketing drives retention. We've heard the term remarketing quite often in the last few months, ever since COVID has come into play. As an app marketer, you acquire millions of users. And even if you're a new app who's in an acquisition spree, it becomes extremely critical for you to engage your users, reiterate the value of your app, and ensure that they are performing those in-app events or making those purchases to ensure that you are able to retain these users. And understanding the incremental lift from your marketing campaigns has become extremely critical. For food and drink apps in 2020, remarketing has offered a massive over 100% growth in the 30-day retention, which becomes extremely important, right? So remarketing has been the focus last year and will continue to be the focus this year and for the next few years coming in. Shopping surges in 2021. So we definitely see a pattern in the rise of paying users, right? And there was a spike of 112.5% of non-organic installs in shopping from Q2 2020 to Q2 2021. So you're seeing an uplift in shopping surges. So then this is mainly to do with COVID, wherein people are preferring to shop from the comforts of their home rather than visiting a brick and mortar store. And this is something which we should be very cognizant about, and marketers should plan to nudge and engage with these shoppers in a more contextual manner. Engagement leads to spike in session. Sounds quite obvious, right? Because there are so many apps competing in the same space, in the same vertical, engaging the users with the right message at the right time has become extremely critical to ensure there is a brand recall and folks are comfortable using your app. So engagement can be of multiple types. One is, helping people understand what your app is, what is the unique proposition of your app. Second, it could be just a branding campaign, which is just going to help people get a brand recall. And engagement can be even in the form of push notifications, which is another important trend which we're seeing in the industry. And user onboarding has become extremely critical now. They want the app to be extremely engaging. So engagement definitely is a key driver in driving in-app actions and in-app purchases. In-app purchases ramp up post Diwali. While we've been speaking over the last 4 5 minutes, understanding the patterns prior to Diwali, it is very important that we focus on what happens post Diwali. Once the celebrations settle down, there are a lot of users who actually tend to shop. And the reason being is shopping apps have clearance sales. People are looking to buy electronic gadgets for their homes, right? And food and drink after the festivities, people do not want to cook. They want to, have some time to unwind, and they prefer shopping online for food and drinks. So it's very important for us to understand the consumer behavior post Diwali and ensuring that you have certain concrete plans to engage and drive these customers towards making those in-app purchases, even post Diwali. Finding the right media mix. Finding the right media mix has become extremely critical. Today, as a marketer, you have a lot of options to choose from. You have the paid media, owned media, and you have the earned media. So understanding what works for your respective verticals becomes extremely critical, and accordingly utilizing your budget. And you should be accordingly utilizing your budget. For example, online shopping, we see that owned media works better because the average order value is higher. So nudging the users with the SMS campaigns, WhatsApp campaigns, push notifications, etc., tends to work better in driving in-app purchases. Whereas for food and drink, the average order value is pretty low. So paid media seems to be working better, wherein you're reaching out to a large cohort of users and offering steep discounts, ensuring that they are actually downloading your app and going ahead and making those purchases. So understanding the right media mix becomes extremely important. Few of the key takeaways: run remarketing campaigns and measure incremental lifts. This is extremely important today. Let's say you've acquired 1 million users, and if these users are not engaging with your app, there is no point acquiring these users. So ensuring that you nudge these users at the right time with the right message has become important. And understanding the incremental lifts that you're getting from these remarketing campaign has to be a key focus area for marketers. And utilizing your budgets for remarketing by understanding incremental lifts is becoming very critical to ensure that you are actually hitting your business outcomes. Focus on branded campaigns and owned media. With so many different apps competing for the same user, right? It becomes very important that your app should be, uh, there should be a recall of your app within the end user, for which branding campaigns become extremely important to ensure that people are aware of your brand, your app, and its unique proposition, right? So branding campaigns, planning it well in advance prior to your actual performance campaigns plays a critical role. And leveraging owned media. Owned media is something which is totally in your control. You're not going to spend any dollars running an owned media campaign. You can run it from your CRM. And owned media allows you to deliver more contextual experience to your end users via deep linking and deferred deep linking. So ensure that you leverage both your branding campaigns and your own media accordingly. Finally, finding the right media mix and leveraging influencers. Even for example, you take a paid media, there are different ways to run a paid media campaign. You could run it with any of the SRNs, or you could run it with an affiliate. So understanding what works for your business becomes extremely important. And then balancing out the owned media, paid media, and earned media is again a very critical aspect. And apart from that, a recent trend that we have been seeing in the industry over the last year is influencer marketing. A lot of apps, irrespective of which vertical they are, leverage the respective influencers in their industry to drive installs or to drive a particular in-app action. So this is something which I think every app marketer should be considering at some point in time in their user journey as to how can we leverage influencer marketing. I think that's pretty much it from my end. So we have the documentation, we have the report on the festive season insights for India. So please feel free to leverage that. And thanks for hearing me out today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prakash, for all the updates. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, as there's a lot more coming up in the next session.